What is my favorite part of the One Piece story that was not part of Oda's original plan? Let's go ahead and talk about 6 of the moments that Oda has explicitly confirmed were not part of his plan, and then at the end, I'll say which one of those was my favorite. Starting off, this is one that people talk about a lot. Vivi was not originally meant to be a princess. When Oda first introduced her character, she was just a member of Baroque Works, but he drew her at one point with her hair down, thought she looked like a princess, and then she was. And then up next, there's one that I talk about a lot, the Seven Warlords. Oda has confirmed that he created the idea of the Seven Warlords on the fly when introducing Mihawk because he thought it sounded cool. And in fairness to Oda, yeah, the Seven Warlords does sound very cool. And then up next, we have Rob Lucci. When Oda was writing Water 7, he knew that some of the characters were going to be spies, but he did not plan which ones they were going to be until after he had already created them. He created numerous characters, looked at those characters and said, which ones do I want to explore? Rob Lucci being one of them. And then after Rob Lucci, we have the Worst Generation. I also talk about this one a lot. Oda has confirmed that he created every single member of the Worst Generation on the fly during the middle of Sabaody because he thought the story was a bit boring at the time. He thought the arc didn't have a lot going on, so he thought maybe he would introduce some new characters to spice it up, and this is what he came up with. Not only did he not originally plan for them to exist, but when he created them in the moment, he thought most of them were going to die the moment they got to the new world. Very specifically, one character that he did not think was going to make it was Law. Oda has said that he had no plans for Law, and that essentially fans loved him so much that he just had to integrate him into the story more. And then finally, my favorite moment that Oda has confirmed was made up effectively on the fly, the finale of Drum Island. Oda was already in the middle of Drum Island writing the story, but he could not think of a good way to conclude the story. He already had the mountains looking the way they did based on a real-life mountain formation, and he was reading a book talking about how the pollution in some areas will turn snow yellow. And it was at that exact moment that he started connecting some dots. He had already designed and introduced Kureha, who had this pattern on her shirt, cherry blossoms. And then he noticed that Chopper's hooves also kind of resemble cherry blossoms. So he combined the idea of all of this cherry blossom iconography with the fact that the mountains kind of look like tree trunks to create Hiriluk's backstory, which then led to this beautiful moment. None of this was part of his original plan, but all of it is incredible.